Several victims of Jeffrey Epstein are suing big banks for allowing Epstein to use his money for human trafficking and abuse. I love this story because finally these brilliant young lawyers, who are my friends, by the way, we followed these guys from the very beginning of this story. They're the ones that identified what was going on with Epstein. The fact that the government was giving him a free pass to involve raping children. That's the headline there. He was raping children. So here, what these guys have done is they've said, we're going to step it up a little bit. We're going to say the banks were involved because they enabled him. Talk about it just a little bit.
Yeah, what happened was Jeffrey Epstein had basically triggered all of the red flags that banks have in place to identify things like human trafficking or money laundering. He triggered all of these red flags. But instead of doing anything about it, what he did was he brought him on down to his little Epstein Island, down to South Florida, and said, listen, I know there's some issues here. Go meet with this young girl. She's going to give you a massage and whatever else you wanted. And that's the story the young women are telling right now. Of course, they're doing it anonymously. They're very afraid of what could happen to them. But they're implicating some of these big executives at these banks, some of the big wigs. And they said clearly in this lawsuit, Epstein brought them down to keep himself untouchable, to make these deals.
Well, okay, so let me talk about the deal. The deal is you bring somebody from a big bank, right? And you say, I have billionaire friends, and I can get you their accounts, or I can make their accounts disappear if I want to. It's the influence of that. So people like, was J.P. Morgan? His big one was J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan says, hell yeah, we don't care what you're doing. This is fair. This is after the guy had already been caught raping girls in South Florida, kids, when they tell him, well, you know what your punishment is? You got to show up in a cell, a jail cell, from 6 o'clock in the morning. What are the times?
Well, it was 6 p.m.
6
to
p.m.
6
to 6 in the morning. Right.
Yeah.
So you have to show up, and that's your punishment. And oh, by the way, carry on your life as much as you want.
You just leave during the
You
day.
can leave during the day. And we found out it was a corrupt judge. It was corrupt prosecutors. It was corrupt federal prosecutors. It was corrupt state prosecutors. And you know what? Nobody paid any attention to it. Nobody went to jail over that, you see.
Yeah.
And so then we find out, well, no, this is a lot more serious than that. But the banking part of it, these guys, like I've always said, there's some money that's too damn expensive. Not for these guys. These guys were willing to push it to the limit so they could get another account, right?
Well, it's like we've talked about with these banks in the past and other banks. They'll launder money for terrorists. They'll launder money for human traffickers. They will do whatever it takes to put more money in their pockets.
Yeah.
They don't care about the red flag laws they have in place. Those are only basically customary. Depends on who it is. If you're a low-level, nobody, they'll pop you for it. If you're a Jeffrey Epstein, you'll get invited down to the island.
DOJ has done nothing meaningful in this case.
Right.
They have a list of who they could go after. They know all the facts. They've done nothing. They're still covering up. Wall Street, I call it the Caligula mentality. There's nothing so awful that they won't be involved with for the right amount of money. And that's what happened here.